Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to From the Holler. If you're new around here, my name is Missy, and we are so glad that y'all decided to stop by and sit a while. Y'all, we got a full day in this kitchen, and we are getting ready for a family reunion tomorrow on Pap's side, and we've got some cooking to do. We're going to make 2 desserts and some of my homemade baked beans, and I have got an order from my oldest granddaughter, who is 3. She placed an order for some of Nanny's homemade rolls, so we're going to make some of those. And we're going to get all the things done so we can be ready for this family reunion. So let's get this day started and let's get these things made. Alright, y'all, so we're going to make our first dessert for the family reunion tomorrow. And I've got a 9x13 cake pan here. I'm just going to spread that taken care of. Alright, there's that. We're going to slide this back. Got my mixing bowl here. I'm using a yellow cake mix. Now this was my grandmother's. It was her own little thing, okay? She made some of the best strawberry shortcakes ever. Very simple, very plain, and y'all, I loved it. This is my favorite cake ever, and I look forward to strawberry season every year so I can have one of these. So we're just going to make this cake from the directions on the box. So there's a cup of water. And then I'm going to do, I didn't get it out. Let's get our oil out. I'm doing 1/3 of a cup of veggie oil. We got a lot of things going. My little granddaughter, who is 3, requested, now they live in Middle Tennessee, so they don't live here close to us. So I don't get to spoil her like I do the others. But she requested some of Nanny's rolls. I took some over for Easter, and I just left the leftovers there, and they put them in the freezer and pulled them out as needed. And Miss Millie has come to love Nanny's rolls, so she requested that Nanny make her some rolls and deliver them to her tomorrow. So I've got the bread machine going over there with her rolls. Ooh, y'all about dumped an egg in that box. I sure did. So I'm making her rolls. I am making 2 different desserts. We're going to do grandmother's strawberry shortcake, and I'm doing an Old Farm Hand cheesecake, homemade cheesecake. So that's what we got going on. Now I'm going to mix this up just a little bit. Alright, now I've got everything semi-incorporated, as you can see. Now I'm going to grab, if I can find it, now my cabinets are a mess. I'm going to put in just a drizzle of vanilla. There we go. And just for some good flavor, I'm going to add in a little bit of cinnamon. Just a little bit. There we go. So I'm going to say about a teaspoon of cinnamon and maybe a teaspoon of vanilla. Y'all know my love for cinnamon, okay? To the sink. All right, I'm going to taste this here in a minute because I want to see. We're going to pull our cake pan back over here. We're going to get this poured in. Now, if grandmother didn't have one of the other ingredients, she'd add different stuff. I mean, she has put in apple pie spice. I mean, just, she even did almond one time. Almond extract. It was good. It was good. But this was her go-to. A little bit of cinnamon, a little bit of vanilla. It just kicks up the flavor of that box cake mix. My favorite. There we go. Now we're just going to get this spread evenly in our cake pan. There we go. Ooh, it's going to be so good. So good. All right. Oh. Y'all. That tastes like home, y'all. That tastes like home. All right, I'm going to let my oven preheat. I know you're supposed to stick that in immediately, but I messed up. So we're going to let that preheat for a minute. Then we'll get the cake in, let it cook for about 25 minutes or so, and then we will move on. While that's cooking, we are going to get these strawberries ready to go. So I washed these and I let them set in water and vinegar for about 30 minutes or so, just to make sure they're good and clean, because if it's not homegrown, they get washed really well. So I've got me another bowl here, and we're just going to top these. We're going to kind of core them up a little bit, and then these big ones I'm going to cut in half. Actually, I'm going to quarter them like that. Make them easier, because we're going to mash these up. So the easier they are, or the smaller they are, the easier they'll mash up. To these, we are going to add, time out. Let's get our cake in the oven. Oh my goodness. There we go. We'll set the timer for that. Now, back to the berries. We're going to put about, we'll see, I think a quarter cup of sugar is going to be good for that. So we're going to put a quarter cup of sugar. And y'all, I'm going to do a little balsamic vinegar. If you've never had balsamic vinegar with strawberries, now this is my own thing, okay? This wasn't grandmother's. And I'm not going to put much, because there may be some in the family that don't like that. So I put probably a teaspoon and a half in there. Not a whole lot. And I'm going to get the old masher out. Y'all, my arms is fixing to get a workout. So now, I'm going to go put this in the sink before I make a big old mess. I'm going to cover this, if I've got enough in here, which I think I do. I'm just going to cover it with some press and seal. Like that right there. There we go. And I'm just going to set this off to the side and let it sit there for a couple of hours. Let that sugar and that vinegar draw out all the flavors of the strawberries, all the juice. Oh, y'all, it's going to be so good. So there's that. Alright, y'all, we've got baby girl's rolls in the oven. The first round anyway. I'm going to do 2 rounds for her since she does live 3 hours away. We'll make sure she has plenty until Nanny gets to see her again. But our cake is cooled. Our strawberries have been setting. Y'all, look at that. Yum. So now I have got this little spatula with the rounded handle, and I am going to go through, and y'all, I'm going to make a bunch of holes in this cake. This is my favorite part of this. And I'm going to get them crumbs. I'm going to try a bite. Alright, y'all. I'm not going to get into this. This is for the reunion. Now we're going to take our strawberries and our juice. And y'all, we are going to slowly, well, maybe not so slowly, but I want to make sure that some of that juice gets in all these little holes. Yeah. Get all that out. All of that. Now I'm just going to take my strawberries and I am going to just kind of move them around, make sure every spot has some strawberries on it. Y'all, that juice is going to continue to come out. The cake is going to soak some of that juice up. Oh, so good, so good. All right, now I probably could have got another quart of strawberries and put on here, but I like this simple. Okay, I like for the juice to be soaked up by everything, and when you eat this, you just, I can't explain it. It's just good, okay? It's just good. Grandmother would not stack on a pile of strawberries. This is about what she would have put on there. And it's so good. It's so simple. So, I'm going to go ahead and grab the lid. We're going to slip this in the fridge where it's going to stay until it's time to go to the family reunion tomorrow. 1 down, 1 to go. Alright, y'all, so it's time to make the old farmhand cheesecake. And the recipe has the steps on making the crust and stuff. Y'all, I'm not making that. We're just going to use 2 already prepared crusts. And I have got 2 blocks of cream cheese here. And we're just going to get them in our bowl. I've got these at room temp. Oh. And we're just going to get them dumped in. There we go. We'll get that out. And we're going to mix these. We're just going to beat them until they're fluffy. Okay. There we go. Now I've got 2 cans of Eagle brand. Now the old folks used to call this Borden sweet milk. So that's what I've always known it by. But Eagle brand sweetened condensed milk. We're going to put in 1 can at a time. I'll grab my spatula to help this along, or else it'll just kind of drizzle out and take the rest of the day to get out of the can. It's a little slow moving. That's fine. We're just going to help it along just a little bit. Alright. Alright, we are going to beat this. Okay? We've got 1 can in. We're going to beat this. Alright, there is 1 can. It's already looking good. Alright, let's get our other can in. Alright, we're going to beat this one in. All right. Now this recipe makes a 9 by 13, but again, I don't want to have to make the crust, so I'm putting it into 2 pre-prepared graham cracker crusts. So that's why we're making the whole recipe. If you want to halve this, it halves beautifully and no problems at all. So now we're going to add in 2/3 cup of lemon juice. And once again, we're going to beat. And there we go. Now let me take these to the sink. I'll be right back. Now the recipe says that you can use some vanilla in here. Y'all, we've tried that. We don't like it. We don't like the flavor of it. We prefer it to be just like this. So that's it. That's the cheesecake. Quick little story about this cheesecake while I'm getting the crust open. Paps used to work on farms, helping out farmers when he was a teenager. And there was one particular farm that he worked that at lunchtime they would ring the bell and all the farm hands would go to the main house and they would have a big old lunch spread. And the wife always had one of these cheesecakes at least a couple of times a week while they were there working. It might be tobacco or hay or whatever, but you know, they were there working, and she would always make sure that they had a really good lunch, and this was one of the desserts that she made. So this is her recipe. This was given to me by Paps's sister, who knew the family that he used to help on the farm, and that's how I got this recipe. And I am so thankful that I have it. It's so easy to make, and it's one of our family's favorites. So now I'm just going to fill this pie crust up.
Oh, and speaking of farming and stuff, I taught Paps how to transplant stuff in the garden.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Well.
And I transplanted a weed somewhere.
Well, I hope you didn't transplant it into one of my beds out there. I have enough weeds to contend with. Okay. I should have opened both of these at the same time, but I didn't. It's fine.
Paps chose where I transplanted the weed.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that makes me feel better. All right. So now, let's get this one filled. See if I've got any extra that I can share between the two. These are really good to make ahead of time. I mean, you kind of have to because you need it to sit in the fridge and kind of chill out in there and come together. But y'all, it's so good. And you can put any kind of pie filling on top. If you want to leave it plain, you can leave it plain. Normally we put, of course, cherry pie filling on top. I've done blueberry, I've done blackberry. I haven't done peach yet, but I've done some of the others. And I need to make some more homemade cherry pie filling. I'm out. So, it looks like I'm going to have just enough. And they're pretty even, so pretty even. All right, there we go. There is our cherry cheesecake. And gotta do a taste test. Oh, so good. So good. You want to taste test?
No.
Okie dokie. All right, y'all. These are going to go into the fridge.
Actually, yes, I do want to taste test.
Okay. There you go. These are going to go in the refrigerator. We'll get the lids put back on them. And I will wait until later. This is the cherry pie filling that I'm going to be using on them.
That's pretty good.
From Dollar Tree.
That's pretty good.
I'll just put a can of on each. And that'll be done.
That's really good.
Paps is already wanting to dig into the strawberry shortcake for dessert tonight. I may have to hide it. I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. Alright, to the fridge these go. So the last thing we got to do, I got baby girl's last batch of rolls out. So the last thing we got to do is we're going to make some baked beans. Go ahead and make them tonight because we have to be there at 11 in the morning. Yeah. And I am not going to have time because our lovely electric company decided that they're going to turn the power off at 11:30 tonight. Probably before that, knowing them. But they're going to turn the power off tonight. Oh, I'm making a mess. And they're going to keep it off for approximately 6 hours. So, last time they did this, we were without power a lot longer than what they said we were going to be without power. And they took their sweet time. Okay? It's going to be a miserable night for me because I am used to sleeping with, and y'all, some of y'all will be like, yes, girl, I know, I am the same. I sleep with a lot of fans on. Okay? I have a box fan at my feet. I have a miniature box fan at my head. I have my ceiling fan overhead. I have an air purifier in my room to help with my breathing and such. And right now, we've already turned the air on because it's been in the 80s and low 90s. So it's a little hot. Now, I will have no noise. No fans, nothing cool me off. It's going to be a long night. It just is. And I do not look forward to this night. Plus having to get up early because we live about an hour away from where they are having the reunion. So it's an hour drive. That means we need to leave from here by 10. Oh, I don't even know. Look in there. You see that? Anyway, we need to leave here. Actually, we need to leave here a little earlier than that because we need to go by and pick up our youngest son who is going to go with us. And that's kind of out of our way to go pick him up, but that's okay. I want all of my kids there, my baby grands and all that, so I don't care a bit to go by and pick him up. And so we need to leave here about, I'm going to guess about 9:30 in the morning. Y'all already know I am not a morning person. And it takes me a little bit to get up and get myself going. Yeah, this is going to be fun. So about the time that I need to be getting up in order to have my wake up time, that's about the time that the power's supposed to come back on. I will need my coffee Okay, I'm seeing all sorts of scenarios going wrong here. Okay, I'm going to need my coffee when I get up. Oh, this could be bad on so many things. I mean, it just. Yeah. And I didn't even think about some of these. They just came to me while I was standing here talking to y'all. I'm worried now. I am truly worried. Tomorrow could be a bad day. Alright, so I've got my pork and beans, my onions, my ketchup, my brown sugar. Y'all, I did not thaw out any bacon to put on top of this. Oh no. Paps loves that part and I did not do it. Oh no. I don't want to put bacon bits in there because some people don't like that. And I think that would change the whole flavor profile of the baked beans. Okay. That looks about good to me. Oh no. That's going to be the first thing he asks about as soon as he gets here and he's on his way home. These are going into a 375-degree oven for about an hour and 15 minutes, something like that. I'll check them in an hour. But it usually takes them a while because I like for mine to get really good and thick. So here we go. Going in. Alright. Let me clean up my mess. And our cooking for the family reunion is over and done with. We're done.